Welcome back everybody to another video. Today we'll be talking about Tableau and how we can use that to utilize our data more effectively. Now you might be asking, what is Tableau? It's a program you can use to display your data in a powerful, simple, and attractive way. Today we'll be going over 5 ways we can use Tableau, specifically a bar chart, a bubble chart, a pie chart, a map, and finally a line chart with forecasting. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Tableau homepage. Make sure to stick around till the end because we're going to be covering a lot of powerfully simple ways to display and analyze your data, and in the end we'll tie it all together to be a fully functional dashboard. If you haven't used Tableau before, don't get discouraged because it's a super simple and friendly program. And before we start, you're going to want to make sure that your data is downloaded. There are actually several different options here on the left side, whether it be a Microsoft Excel text file, JSON file, whatever you have, there are ways to upload it to Tableau. Once you have selected your file, my file was an Excel file. For some reason it only showed up in the text file though, so make sure if you can't find it, try the other options and one of them should be able to get your information. So once you get your data uploaded, automatically upload it to the workbook. And if you go to data here, you're able to check out the different columns of data. In my case, I chose Connecticut's publicly provided real estate records, and that just came in the form of sales, years, and dates recorded, as well as the towns where they were sold, and a few other things in addition. And as you can see, Tableau is able to interpret and organize the data into columns, just as they were used in the spreadsheet. Here we have the town, the address, assessed value, sales amount, sales ratio, property type, residential type, and a few other things. But it's going to look different depending on what information you had listed, and it should have all your information well organized according to the way it was organized in your spreadsheet. Now, after clicking here and getting a new sheet, we're able to see all the different categories we have lined up on the left here. The data in blue represents dimensions, while the green represents the measures. You can kind of think of that like qualitative versus quantitative data. And after dragging a few different measures, Tableau will automatically highlight the graphs and models best fit to provide that data. For example, if we bring in towns and sales amount, it automatically populates it with a map to account for the location. So if we bring in town and we change color to be the sum of sales data, we see that we get a few more options here on our right. For instance, horizontal bar chart. If we want to flip it, we can just go here and click the little rotation button on the top. And from here we see sales data, the sum of sales data from each town. If we want to change that to average sales data, we can just go to the measure here, change it to average. And that changes for each average amount. And if we wanted to add an additional label for town, that'll show up on the top here. If we put that on the label box here, you just drag it over. Whichever category you want, you can drag it to any of these 5 marks and it'll automatically tailor your graph or representation with that mark in mind. And if we take that same data, it shows us a few other different charts we can use. For instance, we can even use the pie chart. So if we change sales data back to sum, we can go to pie chart. It's a little small, so you can just press Ctrl-Shift-B until it's as big as you want it. And now it's a lot more readable, a lot more easy to see. You can hover over each piece to see which town it's representing. It's a little hard to tell just from an overhead view. So if you want, you can even add the town as a label. That way it'll make the biggest names in the graph stand out more. And you can even change the colors if it's not quite. So pie charts, first of all, you can see here require 1 or more dimensions, as well as pie charts require 1 or more dimensions as well as 1 or 2 measures. And since we have a dimension and a measure, we can just go ahead and create this chart, make the towns as our labels. And I'll start by comparing total sales in each town, using the town as color and sales as the size. To make it more readable, you can even drag the town name like I just did here to make it a label. And each piece of the pie will be representing one of the different towns in the report. In this case, all the towns come from the state of Connecticut. If your graph is a little small, just press Ctrl-Shift-B until it reaches your desired size. And if you want to make it smaller again, you can just press Ctrl-B and it'll go back. On a similar note, we have the bubble graph, which is a similar idea. We have the town and the sum of sales as we have the town representing the label and the size represented by the sales amount in each town. And you can even make this a little more visible. If you want to take the town and turn it into color, it'll distinguish each town by a different color to make it a little bit more visible. And using the same data as the pie chart, we're able to view the size of sales compared by the size of these bubbles. Now, something we saw earlier is the map. So here we have a map of the state of Connecticut. You can zoom out and it'll be worldwide. If you have data all over the world, it's still very useful in that sense. No matter where you go, if your information is accurate, you can map it here on Tableau. So the bubbles here are a little small and they're all the same color. So to make this more appealing, you can make it a little bigger by increasing the size indicator here. You just click on the size mark and you're able to adjust it, make it smaller or bigger, however you want it. In this case, we want it a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. And if you need to move around the map, so if you want to change that, you can just click on the little arrow here on the left and then these 4 arrows here on the right. And you're able to drag the map around as you want. And from here, we're going to make it even easier to understand by taking the sum of sales and making the color represent the sales amount. The default gradient scale here doesn't show a very visible difference, so we can just go ahead and edit the colors to be red and blue, make it a bit more of a stark contrast. And for some reason, our default maximum is 36 billion. The maximum we have here is 9 billion, so we can go ahead and change that so that we're actually able to see the gradient of colors. If you go to Edit Colors and Advanced, you can change the end point or the beginning point wherever you want. In this case, we'll just make it 10 billion as the maximum and set that. And now it is much more easy to tell the difference. Blue being the highest concentration of sales and red being the lowest. From here, we're going to demonstrate a line graph, but first we're going to rename this sheet to match. And we're going to add another sheet, add our town data and our sales amount, and we're going to add our sales amount and, in this case, our date recorded. We're going to use sum of sales as the color, and from here a lot of different options pop up. We're going to use the line option here, and this is a line graph of the real estate sales over the last 20 years or so. And interesting to see the relationship here. But even more than that, here on Tableau they have a feature called Analysis. Gives you a lot of different options. Today we're just going to use the forecast option. And it will forecast and estimate how many sales will be found in the next few years. And it's giving a range of the possible values based on what we have. And for instance, if we want to just look at earlier years, we can just make a date recorded filter to Just put it in filters. We'll filter the years, and we'll select all for now. And then we can press show filter, and all of the different years will show up. And if we want to reduce the number of years between, let's say, 2014 to the currently recorded numbers, we can just filter out that data, and we have an even more focused graph of total real estate sales across Connecticut. At any time, if you want to get rid of this filter, you could just press hide card and it's gone. And if you ever want it back, you can just press show filter and it'll be back. I'm going to take a second to make the other graphs on separate sheets, and then at the very end we'll combine them all into a dashboard, as we mentioned at the beginning of the video. Now, as you can see, we have a fully interactive dashboard, and this dashboard can be exported and been embedded in websites. If you have any data you'd like your customers or stockholders, then you have that option as well. That is all for today. Thank you all for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.